Hey guys, it's Professor Pro, and I cannot stop thinking about New Horizons. It's been on my mind almost every day since its announcement just over 2 months ago. I have dreams about this game. Sure, some people might describe that as being obsessive or problemed, but hey, this just means that I can get more ideas for New Horizons themed videos. And I can assure you that the wait for this game is only affecting my sanity a little bit. Needless to say, after over 2 months since the game was announced, we've all had a lot of time to think about the new Animal Crossing title. The majority of my opinions on the game have been extremely positive, to the point where I made a video to talk about how New Horizons could be the perfect next entry in the Animal Crossing series. Yet, even though the game itself hasn't shown anything that I should worry about, there are some decisions that they could make that I wouldn't be very happy with. Now, let me just say right now that this video is entirely opinionated. Nothing I say here is fact, just my own thoughts on certain ideas. If you like some of the ideas here, that's completely fine. I have so much praise for New Horizons that it makes sense to get the negative stuff out of the way first, right? Like the last time I did a video like this, I'm gonna start from least important to most important, going from number 5. Something I think that New Horizons shouldn't do is restrict animals to Amiibo cards. Now, last time I mentioned my dislike for Amiibo cards in a video, a lot of people seemed to assume that it was because I couldn't get my hands on any, but that's simply not the case. I just don't enjoy using them that much. In New Leaf, it made sense to lock certain animals behind Amiibo cards, since the whole point of the Welcome Amiibo update was to prove that the cards had purpose. But for New Horizons, I just don't think it makes very much sense to do so. Especially since, at least at stores in my area, the amount of Amiibo cards in stock has dwindled considerably since Welcome Amiibo came out back in 2016. In New Horizons, I think that all animals should be available to all players, whether they have a specific card or not. I know some people may disagree, but that's just what feels right to me personally. Anyways, the next thing that New Horizons shouldn't do is ignore summer. Summer has to be my favorite Animal Crossing season. There's just a certain feeling that I get from walking around my town during a summer evening, hearing the cicadas and crickets chirping. It's amazing. That being said, summer also kind of feels like it's lacking compared to some of the other seasons. In New Leaf, it's the only season to not have a holiday. And sure, there's fireworks and the solstice during summer months, and those can be very enjoyable, but I still feel like there's so much more that they could do with the season. And with New Horizons Island setting, summer is basically begging to be improved. If the game comes around and there's little to no additions to the season, I'll be a little disappointed, to be honest. Anyways, I think that the third thing New Horizons shouldn't do is bring back the campground. Now, I know that sounds crazy since they just added it in New Leaf, but let me explain. My reasoning this time isn't my weird vendetta against Amiibo cards. I just feel like the campground could feel extremely out of place in New Horizons. I mean, think about it. The game takes place on a deserted island that you have to build into a town from scratch, yet people can just drive up in an RV? Not only would it be nonsensical, but it just wouldn't feel right to me. I wasn't ever a fan of the RVs to begin with, but adding them to an island setting would just increase my distaste for them. Also, I was never the biggest fan of meow coupons as a form of currency, but that's not the main point I'm trying to make here. Something else I didn't like very much about the campground in New Leaf was how you could see special animals almost every day. I don't mind seeing characters like Chip and Nat pop up every now and then, but I feel like seeing the holiday animals Jack, Jingle, Franklin, etc. on a regular basis takes away from the magic of seeing them on their respective days. If Nintendo wanted to make the campground some sort of extended campsite for animals visiting your island, then I'd be completely fine with it, but as it currently stands, I wouldn't be complaining if the area didn't return in New Horizons. Sorry, Harv. Moving on to number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons shouldn't ignore what makes it special. What do I mean by this? Well, look at New Leaf. The game did something really new and exciting with the mayor mechanic, and it stuck with it. It wasn't just some random feature that appeared once or twice in New Leaf, no, it was very important to the gameplay. Building public works projects, creating ordinances, all of this was a major part of that game. The two main things that New Horizons brings to the table so far are crafting and, of course, the island setting. I wasn't always the biggest supporter of crafting in Animal Crossing, but seeing it in action in New Horizons actually makes it look pretty fun. But for them to sell me completely on the idea, they need to make it important to the game. For example, If you had to only craft for the first few months until you had all the better shops and such, what would be the point of having crafting be a feature at all? I know a lot of people are hoping that this is the case since there's many people out there that despise the idea of crafting, but I do think that it could be a really interesting feature to have in the game. Nintendo just has to use it properly. It's the same thing with the island setting. I don't want my island to feel like a regular Animal Crossing town after a year or two. I want it to be an island. It should have features that a regular town wouldn't have, truly separating itself from those past environments. Nintendo shouldn't be afraid to make the island its own thing. I'm not saying they have to change every single thing about the way Animal Crossing plays, but having a different location is a huge opportunity to differentiate New Horizons from the other games in the series. And finally, number 1. I personally think that the worst thing Animal Crossing New Horizons could possibly do is rush progression. New Horizons is likely the longest an Animal Crossing game is going to last before the next release. Nintendo has said that they want the Switch to last for a very long time. We could be looking at 5 more years for the system, and if that's the case, it's likely that the next Animal Crossing game won't arrive for an excruciatingly long amount of time. That's why New Horizons has to last longer than any Animal Crossing game before it. I know that technically speaking, all Animal Crossing games are infinite, but that's not what I mean. I want New Horizons to constantly surprise me with new things. I want to still have stuff to unlock after years of playing. I know that to a lot of people that sounds tedious and annoying, but to me it would be perfection. Being able to play New Horizons for years, knowing that the next time you turned on the game you'd still have something new to accomplish, that would be a slice of heaven. I just wouldn't get that excitement from unlocking everything the game has to offer after a year or two. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Negativity really burns me out. What features do you guys want left out of New Horizons? Let me know down below. Let's just not start a war in the comments section, please. See you guys next time. Professor Pro, out.